Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. We have the First Lady of Sports Talk. Well, actually, we don't. The First Lady of Sports Talk is in Florida, and her power is knocked out. They still got problems down in Florida. Fortunately, ain't as bad as the problems they got in Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands and Guam, because we ain't going to forget our fellow citizens. But we do have Goddess Kelli, the Diva of sports debate, and of course, we got CJ out of Chicago. And, yeah, she had some barbecue ribs last time and didn't share with her little greedy butt. Now, check out the music this week on Shout Out. We are featuring performances from Verseminority. And the reason we featuring them is because they are out of Puerto Rico, and we want to send some love to our people there since our president won't do us right. Now, will they find their shining star or get the cold feel of the mute button? I can't protect them against that now. I put it like that. I'm sorry if they, but we trying to give a little love to them, a little shout out to them. But you know what? It's time for funny ladies. Let's get our giggle on. Producer, roll it.
Oh, hello. I'm Amy Schumer, stand-up comedian and self-proclaimed dating expert. Now, first of all, I want to tell you some things to avoid. If you're going to use humor, don't walk up to him and say something like, I know this dress makes me look pregnant, right? But dress for the job that you want. Oh my God, I love your haircut. Do you also like Justin Bieber? Hey, do you have HPV? Do you want it? As someone who's really slutted around and met a lot of guys in bars, I think I'm pretty good with the intro. Hi, have you met me? That's good because it confuses him. And when guys are confused, I think that's when we find them they're most honest. If the guy laughs, then you know he's in for a good time. But if he takes himself too seriously, then you don't even want to get involved with him anyway. So I think walking over with total confidence but no desperation is invaluable. For some of you who don't read, that means very valuable. So just keep it casual, walk over, and say something that you think is kind of funny. Maybe compliment him, but really make it a backhanded compliment. Like, oh my God, your haircut, it's so great. I love Twilight.
All right, we got our giggle on, and I don't know, ladies, if y'all should take that dating advice or not. All right. Now, it's time for What You Saying. Each week we try to figure out what is going on in the sports world. Not the plays of the week, more like the players of the week. Are they trying to tell us something? So we ask, what you saying? Time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping into the future. So I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let the spirit carry me. I want to fly right into the future. The little birdies known as the Chicago Bears, which they could fly far away from a woeful, ugly performance against their rival, the Green Bay Packers. On defense, you headhunt and send a player to the hospital while picking up a 15-yard penalty, and somebody's going to get a big, did I say big, fine. The commissioner, he done looked at that tape, said, your wallet, buddy. Is it time for the Trubisky era? Is there really a rivalry between Green Bay and the Bears, given Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers usually padded their stats in those games? Judith Shinlin, Catherine Cryer, Janine Pirro, and the Steve Miller Band are asking, what you saying? CJ Goddess, I hate to say it, they were woeful. I was watching that game. You know, I grew up in Chicago. I love me some Bears, but I had to look at it and say, you know what? This ain't fake news. This is real. And when I really looked at the situation, I said, you know, it's starting to look kind of, you know, a rivalry means that I beat you, you beat me. I beat you, you beat me. You know, it's some back and forth. It ain't no, you beat me, beat me, beat me, beat me, beat me, beat me. Did I say beat me, beat me, beat me, beat me? And then occasionally I win. Now, that ain't a rivalry. That's called you just getting beat. Now, because I don't see no rivalry. You know, a rivalry would be like the San Antonio Spurs versus the Houston Rockets, or back in the day, the Lakers against Boston, or the Bulls going up. Well, they kind of beat up everybody when they had their little reign going anyway. But, the Bulls in Detroit, the Bulls in Cleveland, that was a little rivalry for a while. Beat me, beat you, that kind of thing. But when you just constantly getting whooped, that ain't a rivalry. And, I think this has been going on for too long. When was the last time the Bears had a franchise quarterback? And don't give me Jim McMahon. Please don't say Jim McMahon. Come on. We know Doug Flutie wasn't a franchise quarterback, and Jay Cutler, who I kind of think could have been a franchise quarterback, but ultimately Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, except for and even the era, and the era when Green Bay had they had some woeful quarterbacks for a while, but eventually they steadied the ship. When was the last time you saw a Bears quarterback play for 8, 9, 10 years because they was some good? So I'm a Bears fan, but I think I might have to be humble when I go up to Wisconsin with the Cheeseheads, and that hurts my pride. But what can we say? And but I do not think that it's time for the Trubisky era. And part of that reasoning is that don't throw that boy to the wolves. Don't do it. No, not right now. Not right now. Now, maybe, give Glennon a couple of more games so he can take the lumps before you put a guy who might end up being the franchise quarterback in. Give him just a little more time to, kind of get the NFL down, because he got, prospects. Then the other thing is that can the Bears get a receiver that can hold on to the ball? Because they could have beat the Falcons 3 times. He threw the ball in their hands. Could have beat them. So I don't know. And they got them little bitty receivers. Them guys. I'm big. I'm bigger than they receivers, and I ain't that big. Because they receivers can't tussle with nobody. So they need some help. CJ, you up there in the Windy City? What is it really a rivalry? Well, what's going on?
The rivalry is advertising and marketing. We are very close here on the Lakeshore, Michigan. So if there's a party to be had, you're going to have it in Chicago or in Milwaukee. Milwaukee, Green Bay, they've always told you, we party harder up here than you do in Chicago. Unfortunately, Chicago fans are just finding out that it's not so bad to go up there and watch a game in Green Bay, because they know what they're doing, food-wise, and the team is winning. So what, we lose a game? The Bears have been losing for how many years now, as you say? When you said, think of a quarterback, the first one I thought about was Brian's song, That was a movie. So all movies always come out great.
We got and Brian was not a quarterback. Oh God.
Okay? When you think about them, Gale Sayers. However, is it a Trubinsky era? We're going to have to give him his chance. He can't do any worse than the last one we had. Give him a break, just for a moment. But as far as having a rivalry, the rivalry is all in the minds of the partiers. It's just a matter of who can party the hardest. And we know the Bears party always the hardest in our tailgates. If we lose, that's fine, but we're going to have a good time losing.
So if we did already given up the game. Our rivalry is who's throwing the best tailgate party. Oh my God! Oh, Goddess Kelly, as a neutral observer, what you saying?
Well, when it comes to football rivalries, I think rivalries are very real. Now, my experiences in the great city of Chicago, and it is a beautiful city. I love it over there. But you know what? I've only ever been to Chicago during summertime. I've never been to Chicago during football season. And I've never been to Green Bay. Closest I've ever been has been, like the Milwaukee area. So I can't talk about a rivalry between those two specific teams. However, I do have experience with a team that sucks complete and major butt and has a major rivalry with a team that has enjoyed much success. Although I am a diehard Philadelphia Eagles fan, I did spend over a decade living in the city of Cleveland. And of course, as you know, the Cleveland Browns are pretty much the laughing stock of the NFL. But I can tell everyone that the rivalry between the Browns and the Steelers is absolutely real. I have seen so many passionate fans on both sides of that rivalry, and they play each other hard. And I think it's probably the exact same scenario when it comes to the Bears and the Packers. Whenever you're talking about two teams in the same division, those games are always going to be brutal. They're always going to get passions up. And you play those teams twice every single year. When teams outside of your division, you might not even play them for 4 years. So rivalries, I think, in football are very real, even if it is one-sided, like the case of the Bears and the Packers or the case of the Browns and the Steelers. When it comes to the quarterback controversy in Chicago, we all know that Chicago is going nowhere this year. Sorry, CJ, it's the truth. I say let Trubisky play. The Bears gave up so much in the draft to move down and pick up Trubisky, and how better could he learn than to actually be doing the job? The Bears are banking on Trubisky to be their franchise quarterback of the future, to be the guy that's going to turn that franchise around. I say let him in there. Tell the offensive line not to let the kid get hurt, and let him start to gel with the offense. Let him learn by doing, not by watching somebody like Glennon, who isn't very good at the job anyway. If they had a quarterback that was worth a damn, I would say let Trubisky sit and let him learn from a master. But Mike Glennon is far from a master at the quarterback position. So Bears, you can't do any worse. Let the kid learn, and maybe he'll surprise you.
All right. Well, we got that. I don't know, the bad news bears. Goddess Kelly, over to you.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, rocking my peers and putting suckers in fear, making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom. Explosion, overpowering. Over the competition, I'm towering. Wrecking shop when I drop these lyrics that'll make you call the cops. Don't you dare stare, you better move. Don't ever compare me to the rest, that'll get y'all sliced and diced. Competition paying the price. I'm gonna knock you out. Mama said knock you out. We are not talking about Sandra Day O'Connor, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, or Janice Rogers Brown. We are talking about the knockout punch the lack of relief is trying to land on the American citizens of Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Virgin Islands. Is this a case of Black step back, brown stick around, and white you right. Does President Trump prefer to pick nonsense fights with NFL players over a pretend issue of disrespecting the flag when people in Puerto Rico are literally and physically dying? Is President Trump pulling a hoodoo voodoo routine on the American public as he deliberately creates a humanitarian disaster worse than Katrina? A Navy SEAL told Colin Kaepernick that kneeling was the appropriate way to protest so he would not be disrespecting the military or the flag. Is that an inconvenient truth? Has the president successfully turned a protest about police killing black people into a test of loyalty to the country? Catherine Cryer, Marilyn Monroe, wow, where did that come from? Marilyn Milan, sorry about that, Sonia Sotomayor are asking, what you saying? You know what? I have got so much to say on this issue. I was actually up until 2 a.m. last night. I'm working on a piece that I'm writing for goingfor2.com where I address the issue of the anthem, the issue of President Trump and his response. So I'm not going to say too much there. This is going to be a little bit of a teaser for you guys to go out and read my article when I'm done. But President Trump, you need to get your priorities in order. You have done nothing to help solve race relations in this country. You're doing nothing to help the citizens of Puerto Rico. And might I remind everyone that Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory. The people that live there are U.S. citizens. They are dying because they don't have the supplies that they need to make it through this natural disaster. The president visited Houston. He visited Florida. Why is he ignoring Puerto Rico? Why is he focusing so much on what NFL players are doing when nobody is dying on the NFL court? You know what? Black people have been dying on the streets because they're getting shot by cops who are shooting unarmed black men who are doing nothing wrong except for being black in the wrong place at the wrong time. The president hasn't spoken about that. All he's speaking about is people disrespecting the America that he's trying to create, where he's trying to create himself as a supreme leader where everyone needs to stand up and heil just like they did with Hitler, because that's what the president says they should do. You know what? There's a such thing in this country called the First Amendment. Have you ever heard of it? It gives people the right of protest. It gives them the right to kneel down. Colin Kaepernick started a movement that has grown into epic proportion, and I want to say that I am so proud of the NFL and their response to President Trump's comments on the issue. And like I said, I don't want to get too much into it. Please read my article when I'm done. CJ, I know that you're also very passionate about this issue, so what are you saying?
Well, I have been trying really hard to stay as positive as I can about 45. I don't give him his name. Mr. Trump has taken... Every time I want to say his name out loud, I get angry. So I try to say 45, and I'm just going to say that. And Kaepernick is not doing anything differently than Tebow did. He knelt down, and for whatever reason it might be it God or be it the justice of equality and what is correct. I think that is the problem that we're having in addressing this issue of kneeling down or standing up. We want to stand up for America. Everyone, I believe, that is American wants to stand up for the flag, for America, because that's what we are. If you go to any other country, they're not going to say you're an African American. They're going to say you're an American. You're not a white American. You're an American. Hands down. But we as Americans are still trying to keep this separatism going. And that's the reason why when you say black and brown skins, do they really matter? According to this head of state right now, we don't matter. These U.S. citizens in Puerto Rico are suffering 90% without any type of power, food, and water that's full of disease. He doesn't care. His actions show he doesn't care. He called an American a son of a bitch. in public. And only, thank goodness for Representative Green, who is saying, impeach him. Because he can't just go around calling racial names or slanderous names to people. And no one's saying anything. Everyone is just quiet because he has so much money. And until we can show that right does not always mean financial success, this country is going to be in trouble. And he's going to keep doing these things and these laws that he's bringing up from 1920, the reason why he couldn't help Puerto Rico. Come on. What type of heart is that? What type of compassion for human beings? That's all I'm asking him to do. That's all I'm asking the NFL to do, and they finally are starting to look at it for what it was. It's about police brutality. It's about not recognizing that black and brown-skinned people are treated differently in this country, and it should stop. It needs to stop now.
That was very good, CJ. Very, very good. Spitface, let's hear your opinion.
I'm looking at the situation, and the only point that I will disagree with CJ is that people are speaking, and we got to empower that. No, people are not just sitting back being silent. That's not accurate, CJ. So I gotta say that with you. No, because we got to empower. People are speaking up. Are you listening? See, that's the thing. It's not that people ain't speaking up. Are you listening? And this president has cleverly took an issue that had nothing to do with disrespecting the flag, disrespecting the anthem, and turned it into that when it is about the situation where people of color get pulled over and all of a sudden end up dead. Now, that's that issue. And as we said, a Navy SEAL, now I think that's someone who would know, told Colin Kaepernick, look, don't put your fist in the air, don't do this. Universal, all over the world, a symbol of protest that is not disrespecting is to take a knee. Now, somehow or another, this president has cleverly turned that into an issue that does not exist. And it's totally distracted that. While at the same time, because he's so busy playing golf, which I think that was like, oh, I'm going to be working so hard, I won't have time to play golf like President Barack Obama. You know, bad President Barack Obama, all those golfing trips he took, all that vacation he was there. I ain't going to have time. I'm too busy, working for y'all. When every other weekend he had one of his resorts at taxpayer dollars. That's right, taxpayer dollars. The Secret Service gets charged. Get this. They got to go to his resort to protect him because that's their job and be charged for renting golf carts. They get charged. I'm going to make sure that I make money off the American public every which way I can do it. Wow. And then to add salt into the wound, I'm going to ignore my fellow citizens in Puerto Rico and some kind of way put the blame on them. Well, y'all was already having debt issue. What the hell that got to do with the fact that you got people who need medication, who need doctors, who need water, who need food, and they are U.S. citizens. They are not second-class citizens. They are not afterthought citizens. They are U.S. citizens. The only problem seems to be is they ain't white. And I do not have it that the majority of people in this country do not care. I do not have that. And note I said the majority. because people of every ethnicity have spilled blood for this country, has had to deal, and every decent citizen has to deal with the fact that now their loyalty is going to be questioned, and when we start having loyalty tests, that's when you start looking at Nazi Germany. You start looking at Stalin's Russia. What's up with that? What's up with that? Kelli, back to you.
You know what? I think that is beautiful that on a show where we laugh, we joke, we have a lot of fun on this show, but it's nice that we can sit down and talk seriously about these issues that are facing our country right now, and I think that's great, and that's what is so great about this country, the fact that we have the right and the ability to do so. So on that note, CJ, please take us over to break.
The first 2 listeners to email or send a shout out why the ladies and gents are grouped together will have a $25 gift card from our partners at NFLshop.com and Victoria's Secret. Here's your hint. Justice.
Stay tuned. Coming up next, we have a performance from our guest. Oh, no, we don't have a guest this week, from Verseminority on the first part of Shout Out.
Okay, the music flows in from around the globe to get a shout out from the panel. Spitface, can't wait to hear the music from Verseminority.
All right, Skip. On Shout Out, we feature new independent artists who are looking to find their shining star. If we like what we hear, we will get a track of Shout Out. If we don't like it, we hit the mute button. That button been getting hit a lot lately. Today we're featuring music from Verseminority out of Puerto Rico. And, again, we want to send much love to our fellow citizens out of Puerto Rico, and but we can only hope that they won't get the mute button on their music now. So, we got to do it that way. Let's hear Underground Messiahs. Let's check it out.
So fresh, so clean, like, hold up. Good kush on the scene, like, roll up. Town when they come around, they slow up. Style phone, cup lean, hold up. So fresh, so clean, like, hold up. Good kush on the scene, like, roll up. Town when they come around, they slow up. Style phone, cup lean, hold up. Yeah, when the world gets dark and shady, I sit back, my lady, and I blaze streets and we lift up to the heavens. Even though we living in Hades, so I stay drinking till I can't stomach shots like rabies, and the flow is batshit crazy, like one know, but no one knows, cause I excel. It's just getting hard to excel, and it's excel with that intel to just inhale, and I pray well. It's flow number 2 with a pencil, and keep my spirits, bitch, that's just what I do. Good by my standards, great by you. That's why I represent the city of you. Even though I hail from the home of the blues, I arrange words to get my green in the land of the purple. Nigga, what about you? I do what I choose to bless you. Spitting roundabouts, you can catch that too. Could a nigga really beat that dude with a tight flow? How the hell he getting that loose? Well, it's just words with peers of a higher tier. Brainstorm for quiet ears. Kush pull a reverse, pushing high Red Bull and no bullshit. And I pull a clip and a machine gun facing. God is honest. And you may think it's a lot of nonsense. I'm steady bombing. I'm tired of slumming. I'm trying to bunk again. So fresh, so clean, like, hold up. Good kush on the scene, like, roll up. Town when they come around, they blow up. Style phone, come lean, blow up. So fresh, so clean, like, hold up. Good kush on the scene, like, roll up. Town when they come around, they blow up. Style phone, come lean, blow up. When the world gets dark, there's no shine. Close your eyes, spend more time on these dope rhymes. Coke lines, your minds are terrible thing to waste. So when mind stripped into space, like Apollo, that's showtime. Like a hollow floats your mind. Wow. A little hood, but I ain't thug. A little slim, but I ain't thug. Truthfully, on this smooth beat, like the dude who went up against Bruce Lee with the iron glove. Move speed to the quickest Porsche with the force of an iron slug and a crew T. If you knew me, see the J bracelet on and a few C's that my son made in school. Please don't try to judge him, just cool breeze. Grew up in the P's, in the J's with a few C's, so they call them cuz. No followers, just a small buzz. That's a few B's, that's a lot of blood, sweat and tears. Your best shit? Second tier, I won't stop till my account got 5 O's. No, I ain't buzzed. You drunk, nigga? No, I ain't buzzed. Your whole clique must be high as fuck, cause y'all talking that best shit. Need a piss test in the giant cup, cuz. So fresh, so clean, like, hold up. Good kush on the scene, like, roll up. Screw town when they come around, they slow up. Styrofoam, cup lean, hold up. So fresh, so clean, like, hold up. Good kush on the scene, like, roll up. Screw town when they come around, they slow up. Styrofoam, cup lean, hold up. Let me catch this beat, just hear me speak. Southwest fresh, about to quake your street. Expect nothing less, don't neglect this Jeep. My lyrics be the best when your bass go deep. Got a freak to the seat on the side of me, only ride with me. Cause you masturbate to the seat when the bass and the beat quake to see. A nigga like you, late to see. Jazz step to the left, fade for 3. A nigga like you, fake to me. No debate if I rate to see. Real niggas dropping at a steady rate to me. So faithfully, I stretch the fingers on the palm, then I hold the phone to bring doom upon your team. Call it core form, cause it ain't quite ether. I'm mean. I've seen how you seem to cling to frivolous things. Hakeem, my regime. Stream for the laws of the cream, but we know the world ain't all that it seems. There's a few things, there's a few dreams that we hold above, not on the fence and no shoulder shrug. Like love, honesty, God, respect, and loyalty. And honestly, some of these boys be out there, straight out of there, without a care. Can't see to achieve not what you want, but what you need. It take despair. I hate to stare. Proceed so the grieving dismay. Sucker, please, no need, just walk away. Giving G's like me, unfair display. I dare to say I'm here to stay. Same yesterday like I was today. True yesterday like I was today. Real yesterday like I was today. We gon' roll it up, blow the smoke up in the air, kill the stress and let it clear. Your mind and we gon' hold it down. We gon' roll it up, blow the smoke up in the air, kill the stress and let it clear. Your mind and we gon' hold it down. We gon' roll it up. Blow the smoke up in the air, kill the stress and let it clear. Your mind and we gon' hold it down. We gon' roll it up. Blow the smoke up in the air, kill the stress and let it clear. Your mind and we gon' hold it down. We gon' roll it up. We gon' roll it up. We gon' roll it up. We gon' roll it up.
All right, that was Verseminority with Underground Messiahs. Is the track getting a shout out or the mute button? CJ, what you say?
I'm giving it a shout out because it reminded me of an old time cheer song that they used to say in the stands when I was in football, watching football as high school.
All right, okay, all righty.
It sounded like a bull wine instead of drinking wine like we did back in the old days. These young folks, they're doing that kush. So therefore, that's what's making me laugh.
Don't be letting them know. Don't be letting them know. So you done told on some parents. Goddess Kelly, mute button or a shout out?
I'm a little torn on this one. I liked the lyrics. I liked the flow of the rapper. I liked the way that there was harmonies mixed in. That's important to me in music. But the production value overall to me was a little bit of a mess. I think the track needs to just be cleaned up a bit. I think they need to think about, that background music a bit. I didn't think that the beat really fit with the rap. So, I mean, it's close to a shout out, but it's just a yo.
Okay, well, they got a yo. They didn't get a mute button. They got a yo. I'm going to give it a shout out. I just like the lyrics. They sounded like they was chilling. So I just kind of like the little, like you say, the lyrics and the flow and the rapper was pretty good. I'm with you on, some tweaks here and there in the music, but overall, I like what they was doing, and CJ, pass that white port and Kool-Aid. All right, is that the sound of our underwater friend? Is it time for Flip It? Well, I guess it is. It looks like Flipper didn't get into the house this week. No. I think he hanging out with First Lady trying to get her power back going. Time for Flip It, where our host defend a point and then flip the script and defend the opposing view. $250 million is a nice chunk of change for anybody, but we wonder if a certain NBA player named Russell Westbrook should be the highest paid player. Defend. No way Russell should be the highest paid, and if you can get it, you better take it. Goddess Kelly, defend.
Well, I mean, okay, you know what? Russell Westbrook does carry that team, but the highest paid player in the NBA? Come on, are we forgetting about King James? Are we forgetting about the previous unanimous MVP, Steph Curry? Are we forgetting about all these people that have rings? Like, a lot of women out there, Russell Westbrook does not have a ring. So if you want to get the money, you gotta get the ring. Sorry, you don't have enough to get that kind of money if you can't bring a championship to OKC.
All right, I got it. Kelly got a point. No ring. CJ, no way Russell should be the highest paid.
No way he should be the highest paid. He should be trying to retire next year. That's probably what he's going to do. He's going to fake him out. He's going to take this money that he's going to get hurt and say, oh, sorry, I got to go.
They have guaranteed contract. They ain't that guaranteed. Well, let's flip. This. Well, one thing. I'm looking at. Here's Russell. Now I'm with you, brother. If you can get the money, you better take that money and run. You don't take that. Your mama be calling you up, boy. Did I drop you on your head? You better take that $250 million. And what really got me was that he held out. He actually was like, well, I don't know if I'm going to sign. I ain't got no question. When you go $250 million, he was like, well, I want to kind of see what kind of team y'all going to do. And I'm like, man, my man had, I'm like, dude, when did you put a mojo? Did you put the Jedi mind trick on OKC? Because last time I looked, you ain't got no rings. You had one of the top players in the world playing with you, and you couldn't get no ring. Now you gonna get a ring. And, well, I put it like this. Now you did get they got you some help, but I'm like, highest paid player, $250 million. I'm gonna say no. Now, this is Flip It, where we flip the script and defend the opposing view. If OKC wants to stay relevant, making him the highest paid player is money well spent. Goddess Kelly, defend.
All right. My man Russell Westbrook last season did something historic. He averaged a triple-double for the entire NBA season. That has only been done once before by the great Oscar Robertson back in the NBA many, many, many years, many decades before I was even born. So in like 50, 60 years, nobody else has been able to manage to average a triple-double per game. He was the MVP of the league. He single-handedly, without another superstar on the team, brought OKC to the playoffs. He is carrying that team on his shoulders, and that deserves recognition, and recognition in today's NBA means money. So absolutely he deserves that payday.
King, CJ, the fan.
I think it's just a sign of the times. When I was younger or last century, you didn't even know what an OKC was. However, they are showing that they're going to be a contender by paying him what he's worth. And that's another thing that didn't happen last century. Players didn't get paid what they were worth. So he's getting that $250 million. As Goddess Kelly said, he's done things that have not been done before. Give him the money now so that he can spend it.
Okay, I have a feeling that that'll work better than the Trump tax plan. But I think the OKC had James Harden leave, and they had Kevin Durant leave. Now those were they had all three of them at one time, and that was just too many top stars on one team to try to pay everybody. That no NBA team got that kind of money. And these are the kind of guys who they want their money. That's about they want their money. They gonna get paid, like CJ said. And OKC, if they want to stay relevant, they were gonna have to pay the big money, because Russell Westbrook, if they had not, was gonna be easing his butt over to another team. So they kind of had no choice but to pay him big money. And when you do a feat where they got to go back to Oscar Robertson, way back there, man, you a bad mama jama. Now, taking nothing away from Kevin Durant, nothing away from James Harden, certainly nothing away from LeBron, the up-and-coming team with star power, with power, is OKC. And OKC said, look, you know what? We're going to do it right. We're going to pay him max dollars, and we're going to bring in players where we can upset the West and have a legit shot so he can get that ring. Kevin Durant had to go to a superstar team that probably could have won a ring without him. Now, with him, that was like adding a guarantee to it, but they could have won a ring without him. So I'm not, jumping up and down that they, and James Harden went to the Rockets, and yeah, they got to be a contender, but they starting to look like pretenders. Hey, OKC, you made the right move. All right, and on that note, CJ, take us to break.
Stay tuned. Up next, the funnies and our favorite underwater friend on Flip It, Part 2.
Take the money and run.
Welcome back. You are still listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. It's time for the funnies, Goddess Kelly. Over to you.
I think we have something interesting for the panel and our listeners. A Japanese man tries to steal a police car with officers inside. A man in Japan was arrested after attempting to steal an undercover police vehicle with officers inside. The would-be car thief, 23-year-old Ushio Sato, approached the unlocked and unmarked police vehicle parked at a parking lot in Numazu City at 12:30 a.m. and attempted to enter the vehicle. Upon opening the door, Sato found police officers sitting inside the car with the engine off as part of an undercover investigation. Sato attempted to flee the scene but was tracked down by one of the officers for attempted theft. Now, you know what? This sounds like something that I want to see on that show Bait Car, because it sounds like he fell for the bait car. And how tinted were those windows if he couldn't see the cops inside the car before he tried to steal it? I don't know. This guy needs to get his eyes checked or something, because, yeah, that doesn't sound like a very smart move. But I do think that I hear our underwater friend making a comeback, and gosh darn, if water is splashing, it must be time for Flip It.
All right, the Bengals, the Bengals are going nowhere fast, and Coach Marvin Lewis has been at the helm forever. Is it time for a change? We ask, will Marvin last the season or get thrown overboard like a President Trump staffer? You know, you're fired. Panel defend, like they say in Texas. Don't change horses in the middle of a race. He will stay until the end no matter what. Goddess Kelly, defend.
Well, in that division, it's still kind of wide open. The Ravens are off to a bad start. The Browns are always off to a bad start. Pittsburgh has got the best record so far, but you know what? They've been struggling a little bit. So the Bengals are still very much in this race. When you're still in the race, you shouldn't make a change in coaching staff because that disrupts an entire team. A lot of times that makes it ready for a rebuilding process, that kind of thing. So until the division is a runaway for the Steelers, because I don't think any of the other teams are going to be able to compete, I think they should just keep going and see what he can do. I think he needs to get the players on the same team, find out what is going on with their little ginger quarterback over there. They've got some talent. They just need to utilize it and maybe get lucky and maybe build some momentum.
All right, okay. CJ, like they say in Texas, don't be changing horses. Defend.
He's been there for a long time. He still has control. Respectfully, they should keep him. I mean, he might be gone at the end of the season. Nobody can say what's going to happen right now. But for right now, he knows his players. And he's a coach. And as long as he keeps coaching and can get them to follow in his lead, he's going to be there another year. And maybe even for another 3 or 4 years until he's ready to retire. Not when, quote unquote, the fans and these other people think so. He's going to be there.
He's going to be there.
Yes.
All right. Now, you know, one thing is that getting rid of Coach Marvin is like, well, what you gonna, who you gonna bring? You ain't gonna hire no new coach during the middle of the season. What you're gonna end up doing is promoting someone on his staff to take over as the interim head coach. And the downside of that is that what happens whenever they get a new interim coach, the team, you know, kind of sparks up a little bit. They start winning a game or two, and, you know, to kind of help the new coach, you know, the new coach and everything. And what happens is management always makes the mistake of going ahead and giving that guy a contract as the head coach. How's that working out for the New York Giants? Better to keep that guy you got to the end, and if it falls off, if the wheels falls off, keep him to the end, and then go out and just do your due diligence and hire a brand new coach. And I warn you, do not do a New York Giant and promote the guy that was on your losing ass team. So, because that's when you got rid of a Super Bowl winning coach. Don't do that. You see how that's working out for the Giants. Now, you know this is Flip It, where we flip the script and defend the opposing point of view. Panel defend. Ohio is not Texas. Dead Coach Walker. Marvin will not last the season. Goddess Kelli defend.
Okay, like we said, he has been there forever. He's had very talented players on his squad. He's gotten that team to the playoffs. But what happens when they get to the playoffs? They choke. They choke worse than David Carradine, who killed himself with erotic asphyxiation, okay? That's what the Bengals do. They are notorious choke artists. The coach has proven that when it counts, when it is on the line for your continued existence in the playoffs, that he cannot get it done. It's better to get rid of him now and let the Bengals start the rebuilding so maybe next year they can be relevant before their players start retiring and end up in the old folks' home when they've still got some talent on the team. Get rid of him. Get somebody in there that's clutch, that knows how to win.
All right, okay. CJ, dead Coach walking.
The days of martini lunches and backroom deals are practically over. People are starting to look at what's actually a statistic. What are you actually bringing to the table? How many wins and losses? There's too much computer data and analysis to go around for you to keep telling us next year I'll do better. So therefore, with those things going, poor Marvin, his head looks sad every time he's on the field. He keeps putting it down because he knows it might not be there tomorrow. He knows he has to count his lucky stars every time he goes on the field because his pink slip might be right there waiting for him when he gets back in the locker room.
All right, okay. Now, I'm looking at the situation with Coach Marvin Lewis, and I like Marvin Lewis. I like that he's taken a lot of troubled players, turned them around, and actually got them to perform. I like that about the man. But there is a culture that the Bengals have that they are not winners. They are always pretenders. And Coach Marvin Lewis is not a bad coach. But sometimes you need to, like a hurricane, just blow it away so that you can start over. And a new coach coming in will be able to work with those pieces, and because there are some good pieces, a lot of talent, but you got to bring in a new regime. And it would behoove Coach Marvin Lewis and the Bengals to get rid of him earlier than later. That way he can start planning for his new team or looking at working in the booth, and the word can get on out that Cincinnati at the end of the season will be hiring a new coach, and they can get on with doing evaluations to see who they want to bring in. So it serves them nothing to keep him around when he's dead man walking. Well, that's the end of Flip It for this week, and Goddess Kelli, I think it's time over to you for a little jambalaya.
Now, I know I am hungry, and I think we got a very good mix for our panel today. Here is my quote. Before I criticize a man, I like to walk a mile in his shoes. That way, when I do criticize him, I'm a mile away, and I have his shoes. So, panel, what I want to know is how does this quote relate to the New York Football Giants? And you know what? I'm going to go first. As the reigning Philadelphia Eagles fan, being on top of the NFC East after that embarrassment we put on the Giants, I think our rookie kicker stole those Giants' shoes and he booted in a 61-yard field goal with 1 second left on the clock to win the game for the city of Philadelphia against our bitter rival. And you know what? That puts us a mile away from those Giants because we are sitting on the top of the division and they are sitting in the bottom basement of the division where they will stay. Screw you, Giants. CJ, what you got?
Well, you know I'm always a hidden Philadelphia Eagles fan, and that was the best that I could ever see. Those highlights were fantastic. So, as far as running away, they are just keep running away. Those poor little Giants, they can have their little celebratory stances and kick up their little legs like little doggies. It's okay. But they still got to win some more games.
All right, Spitface. What do you think about the Giants?
Do I have to think about them?
You don't have to.
I want to speak with the producer. Why did you put them in the script? I'm going, oh my God, you know what? The Giants are such a discombobulated mess. You ain't even got to walk away. Just take their shoes and stand there. you know, and and I think part of the problem, I'm gonna tell you something. I think they should get rid of Odell Beckham. I do. I think that they should get rid of him and get them some draft picks because they're going to fire that coach. And it's time for a rebuilding. And they need to take I almost hate to say this, they need to take a lesson from the that's right, from the Dallas Cowboys. And what that lesson is, find you offensive linemen. Pay them like you paying Odell Beckham. You get you some linemen that you paying like Odell Beckham, then you got Eli Manning, who I dare say might have two, maybe 3 years left in the tank, and have a winning team again. But otherwise, it's like, I'm looking at Odell Beckham. Y'all ain't won nothing, but you want to do antics on the side of the field and get your team penalized. And you're looking like a goofball. Come on, dog. No, actually, I ain't with this dog thing. One, I do not like men being called dogs. And then grown men who all of a sudden want to make it like that, I go, look, that shows me your mind ain't right. If anything, you should be going, look, no, I'm a player. I'm an NFL player. I'm a man. And you playing like little kids. And your performance on the field is showing that. So I would not be surprised if the New York Giants continue to play like munchkins out of the Wizard of Oz and end up with a 2-14 record. So I'm criticizing them, and I'm going to take their shoes and not walk the mile.
You know what? That might have been the absolute most delicious jambalaya we have had yet. While we digest that, CJ, please take us to break.
Take us to break. All right. Here we are. And we are waiting for another performance from Verseminority. Stay tuned. You are listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. It's time for Shout Out Part 2, the picks and the finale. The music flows from around the globe to get a shout out from our crew. Goddess Kelli? Over to you.
We have another performance from Verseminority. Let's hear Connect.
Sons run the streets all day. Verseminority. I gotta get my hustle on. Product for the fiends and in the latest. Crack on whack. I got my connect, so y'all keep coming back.
Said you rap game up, come on. Garbage, I'm back with another connect. So pay homage, a nightmare like Freddy. I laugh like ever ready. Proposta de Boricua like Babylon Machete. I push things like weight and hustle till I get so I spit track and fact. I'm heroin with this flow, swagger like a b-boy. Die by my side, if it's fighting for the streets, I'm the one who provides. Y'all symbolize when I spit like coke. Y'all fighting rhymes cause I spit so dope. It's the crack flow hustler. Please, I'm supplying them. Black market smuggler. Please, I'm retiring. Addicted to this lifestyle. Can't get it out of me. Talk it on my hit list. Not what you wanna be. Claiming you got flows, but no, not precisely your drill. As much as I'm serving it tonight on the streets all day. I gotta get my hustle on. It's all about the green. So I got my bill rustle on. It's product for the fiends. crack on wax. I got my connect, so y'all keep coming back for the streets all day. I gotta get my hustle and it's all about the green, so I got my bare rustle on this water for the feet. Crack on wax. I got my connect, so y'all keep coming back.
I got my ears to the streets, my feet on the ground, my head in the clouds as the smoke surrounds my environment. The concrete jungle where the baddest on the block get humble. I stay humble from the get, even though I connect from the north to the south, to the east, to the west. I respect those that got the muscle to push weight, disrespect those who clear the G's when they aim is my everyday struggle. They can't relate, they just bums with no fun, snatching crumbs off my plate. Isolate the face, keep them out of my perimeter. Stimulate your mind, you won't hear something similar. I riddle like the riddler, flow perpendicular. You talk Novocaine, cause I just ain't feeling ya. Slinging tracks like cocaine, in your head like whole game. All the skills, on the track, difficult to contain.
On the streets all day, I gotta get my hustle on, it's all about the green, so I got my bare rustle on, it's party for the fiends. Crack on wax, I got my connect, so y'all keep coming back for the streets all day. I gotta get my hustle and it's all about the green, so I got my bare rustle on, it's party for the fiends. Crack on wax, I got my connect, so y'all keep coming back.
Yo, 100 shots flaming out the black dragon. Surrounded by guards, although I remain savage. Murder mechanic, craft automatic, jackhammers, true shatters, PR, bloody island. Millimeters your board, last man standard. I don't walk through the concrete jungle busting a cannon. You can tell me cool work with the batters, we original rude boys, the cold stay silent. Fist full of shells, AK Cali, when I squeeze some levitate like magic. Hear out static, cops wanna fabricate, time show gon' get knocked in pressure in the battle. My code is Bin Laden, you rap me kaboom, hey body blow the f*** up. Allocated status is that infinite clip, Tippy. Keep talking about your ice, we can take them carrots
On the streets all day, I gotta get my hustle on, it's all about the green, so I got my bare rustle on, it's party for the fiends. Crack on wax, I got my connect, so y'all keep coming back on the streets all day. I gotta get my hustle on, it's all about the green, so I got my bare rustle on, it's party for the fiends. Crack on wax, I got my connect, so y'all keep coming back.
I ain't worried about this rap, so hungry cause it never had to look around you. It ain't a pretty picture. I gotta keep moving these singles to double figures. Now I'm fast every day. I live a test. I feel that my regrets will take me for my quest. Cause life is a decision and the mission is life. So every time I get in the vibe, I'm taking a bite. Damn right. See is what it is. Cause somebody gotta tell it how it is to the kids. It's a new day, new ways to make paper. Get chips and stacks up as high as skyscrapers. It's a crazy life, but somebody gotta live it. Gotta watch out for dirty rats. I haven't heard the bell, but I know that it's my time. My rhyme is my rhyme, believe it's about time.
All right. That was Connect. Is the track getting a shout out or the mute button? And you know what? Ladies and gentlemen, please mark today on your calendar because I am going to say something that I don't think I have ever said on this show before. I absolutely loved that track. I thought that that was amazing. Get that on the radio. Make that a single. I liked both of the rappers. I liked the way that they harmonized together. I loved the background beat. I liked how it had kind of a little bit of a rock guitarish sound in there, and then I liked that kind of like tinkly sound in there as well. I thought it was extremely professional, very well done, kind of reminded me of, you know, the rap that I used to love back in the 90s. I thought that it was extremely well done, very talented. My only complaint is I wish I could have listened to that on my real sound system instead of my microphone headset, because I think it would have sounded even more fire on a real sound system. So well done, and I feel like I'm losing my edge because I haven't criticized anything today. CJ, what did you think?
Well, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I liked it mainly, and I'm going to give it a big shout out because it didn't use the N-word once. So for me, it's a double shout out.
All right, double shout outs. Well, I'm giving it a shout out, and I do want to also say that they are out of Puerto Rico, and right now, because of all the communications, they may not be able to hear our shout out, but we intend that they feel the spirit of our shout outs. So I'm giving it a shouty outy.
Well, that is the end of shout out. And if you like what you heard from Verseminority, and you know what, I wasn't sold after the first track, but after this second track, I am absolutely sold. So if you're as sold as I am, go on over to the web and check them out at verseminority.com. And if you would like to be heard or have any comments, you can send your email and tracks to Panties at oldgrumpyradio.com. Now it's time for the picks. So Spitface, over to you.
All right, it's time for the picks. Will the First Lady keep her crown from last year's NFL season, or will the new champion rise? Now, First Lady is, again, she's out this week because of power issues in Florida, and but she will give us an update on the stats when she returns. The games, Saints versus Dolphins. All righty, 1,000 if you get it right, minus 1,000 if you get it wrong. Okay, Goddess Kelly, Saints versus Dolphins.
Drew Brees versus Jay Cutler, the Saints all day long.
All right, CJ.
I'm gonna go with the Dolphins.
I'm gonna go with the Fish too, because the Saints can't buy a defense. Titans versus Texans. CJ.
I'm going with the Titans.
The Titans. All right.
Yeah, the Titans.
I am a huge fan of young quarterback Deshaun Watson, and the Texans have got that amazing defense. I'm going with the Texans.
I'm rolling with the Texans. Raiders. The Las Vegas Wacky Raiders versus the Broncos. CJ.
Going with that Bronco. Ride 'em,
right.
all the way high.
Ride 'em. Okay, all right. Goddess Kelly.
I think the Raiders have an amazing offense that was embarrassed last week. I think they're coming in for blood, even against that Broncos defense. So I'm going with the Raiders to redeem themselves.
Broncos at home, I got to go with them. I'm riding that Bronco too. All right, the Washington team versus KC Masterpiece. Goddess Kelly.
I mean, Washington can't even beat a bad team right now, and Kansas City can do no wrong, so absolutely going with the Chiefs.
All right. CJ.
Chief.
Chief. All right. Okay, and Chief. All right. The Los Angeles Rams versus the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. Now, the Rams, put up a whole bunch of points against a team that really was not all that good. And the Cowboys got to do everything to stay on track because Philadelphia ain't no joke. But I smells an upset. I'm going to go with the Rams. Goddess Kelly?
That Rams offense has been pretty darn legit, and I hate the Cowboys, so I'm going to go with the Rams.
CJ.
I'm with those Aries, too. We're doing the Ram thing.
All right. Okay, we got some hodgepodge for you. Who will score more touchdowns? Drew Brees of the New Orleans Saints or Matt Stafford, Detroit? 10,000. If you get it right, minus 15,000 if you get it wrong. Goddess Kelly.
This is a really hard one for me. I am going to flip a coin and say Matt Stafford.
I'm going to go with Matt Stafford as well. CJ.
I'm going with Breeze.
All righty. Who will have more passing yards, Tom Brady or Deshaun Watson? Goddess Kelly. 15,000, you get it right. Minus 15, you get it wrong.
Well, I just said how much I believe in Deshaun Watson, but I think part of his strength is the fact that he is a mobile quarterback. If we were talking all-purpose yards, I might go with Deshaun, but if we're talking just passing yards, I'm going to take Tom Brady.
CJ. Tom Terrific. and the Brady Bunch or Deshaun Watson?
I'm going with the bunch. The Brady Bunch got to do it.
You know, I like some Deshaun Watson, and the Texans will establish the run. Tom Terrific and the Brady Bunch. Who will have more rushing yards, the Dallas Cowboys or Las Vegas Raiders? CJ.
The Cowboys.
Goddess Kelly.
I'm probably overusing this line, but I'm just here so I won't get fined. I've got to go with beast mode and those Raiders. Marshawn Money Lynch.
I'm going the Raiders are playing the Broncos. Looks like Zeke gets another week. Going with the Cowboys. Now here's the option. You do not have to take this game. It is an option. The Bengals versus the Browns. 50,000 if you get it right, but minus 50 if you get it wrong. Okay. All right. CJ, are you taking an option this week or are you going to pass?
I'll pass.
Goddess Kelly, Goddess Kelly, you taking the option or you going to pass?
You know what? I have been screwed over by the option many times, but I live by the philosophy, go big or go home. I'm going to take the option, and I'm going to go with my former homeland of Cleveland. I'm going to take the Browns.
All right. I'm going to take the option, and I'm going to take the Bengals because Marvin Lewis' job might be on the line. The Browns coach, win or lose, he ain't going nowhere because they know they rebuilding. But the Bengals, they got to win or Marvin Lewis out of a job. So I'm taking the option. I'm going with the Bengals. Now, the First Lady did send in, first off, we want to get our outrageous predictions for this week. My outrageous prediction for this week is that the New York Giants will finish the season with only 3 wins. CJ, what's your outrageous prediction for the week?
Colin Kaepernick is going to get picked up by the Bengals.
That would be outrageous. Goddess Kelly.
That
would be outrageous.
That's very outrageous. My outrageous prediction for the week is that, gosh, I didn't think of one in advance, and I'm just drawing an absolute blank. Okay, my outrageous prediction is that Joel Embiid is going to get injured walking down the sidewalk.
All right. Goddess Kelly, how can the listeners check out your other broadcasts?
Well, I am live every Friday night on The Red Zone with Kelly and Rashawn. You can listen to us live on blogtalkradio.com/Momentum Shift. You can also check me out on demand anytime you want at goingfor2.com/Momentum Shift. That's going FOR2.com. You can also follow me on social media. I'm on Twitter at KELLIERUTTAR. I'm on Facebook under the same name. You can give me some love. You can listen to me anytime you want. And also, just another tweet of my own horn. Be sure you be on the lookout for my new article coming out where I address the anthem protests. So I've been on a writing hiatus for a while. It's time to come out of writing retirement and speak my mind.
All right. CJ, how can the listeners learn more about the Sabora Group?
Well, they can learn more about the Sabora Group, and what we're all about is making sure that you're the best that you can be at Facebook at SABOIRE.
All righty. And you can always check me and the First Lady out at oldgrumpyradio.com. Please enjoy the poetic performance at the end of the show. This is Spitface filling in for Cheryl Smith, CJ Goddess Kelly. You have been listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. Enjoy this poetic performance.
Looking back, it seems it's all a dream. I'm not just saying this for being mean. It's just my story and and it's just my side. Sit back sometime, 'cause it's gonna take a while. Looking back, it seems it's all a dream. I'm not just saying this for being mean. It's just my story and it's just my side. Sit back sometime, 'cause it's gonna take a while. I can't sleep at night. I ain't thinking right. Redeem me. Because I pawned my life somehow. Now ransom is due. She had it all. Reverence with no consequence, so it seemed. None of her actions seemed binding, so it seemed. Guided with no responsibility as my world fails me. Sounds like redemption. Redemption like Egyptian days. Horn, sun, warm, sand, Hebrew scorn like Moses coming down from the mountain. African slave like Hebrew, you've been warned. Sounds like redemption. Redemption like gang fights, territorial, same struggle, different bubble. Mothers huddle to comfort one another. Sounds like redemption. Redemption like mom and daddy had a fight last night. Woke up, no eyesight. Cooked breakfast like everything was all right. Sounds like redemption. Redemption like sending our boys overseas to fight. Doing it for our country, don't make it right, 'cause family still can't sleep at night. Sounds like redemption. Redemption like Papa didn't have it. You're no longer in the baby carriage. Fly, little bird, fly. Forcing you to move forward 3 weeks, no phone call. You pissed off, she pays for it. 'Cause just like mama, she gives up her mortgage, and daddy don't even know it. Sounds like redemption. I want my daughters back, white and black. Mesmerized by crack. Used to be fat, PHAT, pretty hot and tempting. Sounds like redemption. Redemption like I want my innocence back. He stole it, she know it, and she always knew that. Now she's raising a stepdaughter / granddaughter. Water under the bridge, hell no, manslaughter. Sounds like redemption. Redemption like new world order. Bartering won't be enough. Slaughtering will be a must. Survival will be tough. Sounds like redemption. Redemption like persecution with no conscience. Prosecution with no haunches. He died for no one's death. Let your child go to jail for accidental death. Jesus' love put to the test. Sounds like redemption. Redemption like 10 words or less. Forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do. If he can forgive, so can you. Sounds like redemption. Looking back, it seems it's all a dream. I'm not just saying this for being mean. It's just my story and it's just my side. Sit back sometime, 'cause it's gonna take a while. Looking back, it seems it's all a dream. I'm not just saying this for being mean. It's just my story and it's just my side. Sit back sometime, 'cause it's gonna take a while. Redemption.